big thanks to the developer for the review copies. We didn't use them. We just bought the game because that is a decent price. Maybe you guys will let us give them away to people in the comments. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Hi everyone, my name's Mark Walker and welcome again to SwitchUp. I've got to be honest, I think that was one of the best indie directs that we've had ever. We saw some incredible games, Axiom Verge 2, which I instantly purchased and will be playing through for review, but the little gem, Islanders, a minimalist city builder, caught my eye instantly, and then when I checked it out on the eShop, the price was like a £5. I thought I'd knock out a little video about what the game's all about. It was originally released back in 2019 on macOS, Linux and Steam, and we'll go over the performance as well of the Switch version. Is it going to be Love Island or Loathed Island? Let's find out. As you'd expect, there isn't a story at all. You're essentially placed on a little island and you're set off. As far as gameplay and controls go, things are kept very minimalist and simple. At the bottom of the screen you can see a plus icon. That means that you can place something. When you click there you're given one or two options to choose from, but you're not told exactly what they do. When you select one of the build sets, these parts are then given to the player and shown at the bottom of the screen. For example, if you had the farming set, you'd get a farmhouse, a couple of fields, and maybe some small houses. The game works on a proximity point system, aka each building will gain more points when placed in proximity with certain others, and it will lose points when close to those shown at the bottom of the list here. It's a ludicrously simple premise, but it's remarkably addictive. You could, in essence, place only a couple of buildings and then have a game over screen because you weren't calculated in where you chose to put them. And on the flip side of that, as you strategically place your buildings and the scores rank up, and unbeknownst to you, you'll be unlocking different structures for building. Maintaining those high scores and cranking out better and better buildings will improve your overall city and scores, and if you manage to get high enough, down in the right hand corner the island image will unlock and you can press X to move on to the next one. Now, ideally you don't want to do this. You want to exhaust all available potential for profit and points and then move on to the next. And when you do so, you'll be sent to a brand new island, but you'll retain your score. The cycle begins again, but the environments will have changed as well as the structures available to the player. There's a decent amount of variety. I've started to see a few of the same ones popping up over and over. It doesn't really detract though from the addictive loop because you're trying to juggle the right choices to gain a high enough score to unlock the next island. As you know that if you don't, then it's game over and you can upload your score to the global leaderboards and just hope against hope that you're not at the bottom. You control the camera with the left stick, that pans, but you can do finite movements with the right stick. Using the triggers rotates, and up and down on the D-pad will zoom in and out. Rotation of the buildings is handled with the same triggers, and they can be placed when green. It's all very simple indeed, and so far, I've absolutely loved it. There's a sandbox mode here as well, so if you'd rather just build without any constraints, having to worry about the scores or game over, you can do that, just moving on endlessly to different islands, creating your own little paradise. The gameplay is going to appeal to someone that wants a relaxing, easy to pick up and play game, but those who enjoy a little bit of competition and going for those high scores, as already that's been a very compelling drive for me. Controls are straightforward. These types of experiences always benefit from a mouse and keyboard, but it's okay here. It's as good as it can be on a console. Gameplay for me, scores 16 out of 20. Certainly that loop will eventually get tired, but for the price being asked, I think it's well worth it. The controls are decent, although as mentioned, they're never going to compete with a mouse and keyboard. They also score 16 out of 20. The game runs on the Unity engine, which has seen mixed success on the Nintendo Switch. It seems here though to be running very well. I haven't noticed any stutters or dips, and each island loads in quick time. They've gone for a low polygon style, which I do quite like. It's something that works well on the Switch, as sometimes it struggles with the more visually and technically impressive games, and they end up just looking quite blurry. The audio is equally low key and relaxing, and suits the game design well. Visually, Islanders looks good. There could potentially be a touch more variety, an argument that could be made for the whole game, but it performs well, and that music and sound effects, they're on point. Visuals and performance scores 16 out of 20, and the audio scores 17 out of 20. Islanders the console edition is going to set you back a little over a £5, but after a few gold coins I think it ended up costing me about £1.50. If you like the sound of it and what I've said, you will most certainly feel like you've got good value for money. For a game that I believe took the developers 9 months to make while studying, it's a delightful little game and well worth the price being asked. I'd give the value 18 out of 20. If you're after a chilled out, simplistic strategy experience with that high score chasing aspect and no small amount of addiction, then look no further than Islanders Console Edition. It gets a SwitchUp score of 83%. Did this one also catch your eye, and have you already beaten my high scores? Ay caramba. Thank you to the patrons who support us each and every month. If you like the channel, stick around, and remember we give away a free game each and every month to the person most active, and they might even let me give away the review copies we've got of this one, as I thought I'd buy it myself this time round. At that price it just seemed rude to use the review copies sent, and they've done a good job. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!